In this series, we showcase the faces behind some of the popular street names in Zimbabwe. In the capital city of Harare, one of the most important roads you'll come across is Samora Machel Avenue. It is located in Harare's central business district along the A5. It is named after Mozambique's first president, Samora Moises Machel, widely known as Samora Machel. Please support this channel on Patreon. From as little as $3, you can help me improve the quality and consistency of videos on this channel. On that note, help me thank my Diamond Patreon, Takwirira Rinomota. Thank you so much for the support. Samora Machel was born on the 29th of September 1933 in the village of Madragoa, today's Chilembene, in the Gaza province of Mozambique, to a family of farmers. Machel's father was a successful farmer. He owned 4 plows and 400 head of cattle. By 1940, Machel grew up in this farming village and attended Mission Elementary School. In 1942, he was sent to school in the town of Zongwene in the Gaza province, which was run by Catholic missionaries who educated the children in Portuguese language and culture. Although having completed the 4th grade, Machel never completed his secondary education. He started to study nursing in the capital city of Lourenço, today's Maputo, beginning in 1954. Unable to complete formal training at the Miguel Bombada Hospital in Lourenço, he got a job working as an aide in the same hospital and earned enough to continue his education at night school. Whilst at Miguel Bombada Hospital, Samora Machel started political activism. He protested against the fact that black nurses were paid less than whites doing the same job. Machel decided to leave Lourenço after he was warned that he was being watched by the Portuguese political police. He slipped across the border and made his way to join FRELIMO in Dar es Salaam. After reaching Tanzania, Machel volunteered for military service and was one of the second group of FRELIMO guerrillas sent for training in Algeria. Back in Tanzania, he was put in charge of FRELIMO's own training camp at Kongwa after FRELIMO launched the Independence War on September 25, 1964. Machel soon became a key commander in the struggle for Mozambique's independence. He rapidly rose up the ranks of the guerrilla army and became the head of the army after the death of the first commander, Philippe Samuel Magaya, in October 1966. Following the assassination of FRELIMO's founder and first president, Eduardo Mondlane, by a parcel bomb on February 3, 1969, FRELIMO's executive committee appointed a presidential triumvirate consisting of Uriah Simango, Machel, and veteran nationalist and poet Marcelino dos Santos. Simango was expected to take over following the death of Mondlane, but soon broke ranks and denounced the rest of the FRELIMO leadership. This led to Simango's expulsion from the Liberation Front and the election in 1970 of Machel as FRELIMO president, with dos Santos as deputy president. Samora Machel identified himself with Marxism and Leninism, and under his leadership, these positions became central to FRELIMO, which evolved from a broad front into a more Marxist party. FRELIMO under Machel started carrying out military operations to liberate Mozambique from the Portuguese control. After a series of protracted talks, Samora Machel managed to secure independence of the Mozambican people. Samora became acquainted with Graça Simbine, who was also a member of FRELIMO, and in 1975 the two married. On June 25, 1975, Machel proclaimed the total and complete independence of Mozambique and its constitution into the People's Republic of Mozambique. He was able to usher in some good policies in Mozambique, including equality for women, and also some bad ones. Following the independence of Mozambique, FRELIMO faced a hostile environment with the white minority governments of Ian Smith in Rhodesia and the apartheid government in South Africa on Mozambique's borders. In March 1976, Machel's government implemented United Nations sanctions against the Smith government and closed the borders with Rhodesia. In retaliation, Smith's Central Intelligence Organization recruited dissatisfied Mozambicans and former Portuguese settlers and helped set up an anti-FRELIMO movement. Initially, the Mozambique National Resistance operated as an auxiliary branch of the Rhodesian armed forces. FRELIMO dismissed them as armed bandits. Samora Machel and FRELIMO had long-standing links with the Zimbabwean nationalist movements. Even during the independence war, guerrillas of ZANLA, the armed wing of ZANU, were able to operate from FRELIMO-held areas in Inthe province into northern areas of Rhodesia. After the implementation of the UN sanctions against the Rhodesian government, the entire length of the border was now available for nationalist incursions into Rhodesia. When the former late president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, was released from Salisbury prison in 1974, he made his way into Mozambique the following year. Machel accommodated him in the central city of Kiliman, where he taught English. Samora Machel also tried to unite the nationalist movements in Zimbabwe and to bring the war to a successful conclusion. Machel embarked on a dual strategy, militarily and diplomatically. He sent Mozambican units into Zimbabwe to fight alongside ZANU guerrillas, whilst also insisting that the new British Conservative government under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher should resume its responsibilities as the colonial power. Helping the ANC comrades and the liberation movements in the then Rhodesia came at a very huge cost for Machel and Mozambique. In 1977, RENAMO launched a rebellion backed by Rhodesia, plunging the country into civil war. Following the collapse of Smith's government, the rebel forces began to receive backing from South Africa. During the 1980s, the South African government took an increasingly hostile attitude to the frontline states. Mozambique, in particular, was accused of harboring military bases of the African National Congress. On June 30, 1981, the South African commandos attacked 3 houses in the southern city of Matola, killing 12 ANC members as well as a Portuguese electrician. Tensions between the two countries increased, and despite diplomatic efforts to ease the tensions, the white South African government continued funding RENAMO rebels. In mid-1985, the Mozambican and Zimbabwean armed forces launched a joint offensive to drive RENAMO out of Gorongosa. Zimbabwean paratroopers ensured the capture of Casa Banana, but RENAMO leader Alfonso Dhlakama fled north and re-established the RENAMO headquarters in the district of Maring. But in fact, the war continued, although its focus shifted northwards to Zambezi and Tete provinces, with RENAMO operating with impunity out of Malawi. Machel hated the Malawian life president at the time, Hastings Kamuzu Banda, who was the only leader of an independent African state who had established diplomatic relations with Pretoria. After a unsuccessful meeting with Banda, Machel openly threatened to place missiles on the Mozambique-Malawi border and to prevent trade from landlocked Malawi passing through Mozambican territory. Samora Machel died in a plane crash on the 19th of October 1986, whilst coming from a meeting in Zambia. His plane crashed into a hillside at Mbuzini, just inside South Africa. Machel and 33 others died. 9 people sitting at the back of the plane survived. It is highly believed that the aircraft was intentionally lured off course by a decoy radio navigation beacon set up specifically for this purpose by the South Africans. Speculation about the accident has therefore continued to the present day, and particularly in Mozambique. Hans Law, a Civil Cooperation Bureau operative, claims to have helped bring about Machel's death. That is the face behind the popular street in Harare, Samora Machel Avenue.